Royal greetings, blessed love, and a mighty royal welcome to my channel. This is I am Life and Light Productions, and I am Jasparks, your host. Yes, today is another session of I School of Thought, Yes, I. Greetings and blessed love to each and everyone that is joining in with I. Mighty heart of Sabbath remembrance to each and every I. Yes, I remember that the Sabbath is a state of being, a state of mind, you know, the state where you are dwelling in all your desires fulfilled. The dwelling in the desired end, as they say. So we do give thanks again royally for being present in life, For once you're present in life, yes, you know that you have the gift, which is life. Yes, I. Blessings to each and every household out there. I pray everyone is healthy and strong, and wealthy within, because wealth has nothing to do outside of self, wealth has to do within. And once you're wealthy within, then your outer world will reflect that, So we give thanks once again, as the topic says, how to be godly, part 2, last strong. I did a video live on how to be godly, from my perspective, because it have, many people out there and everyone giving their perspective, and we know that every being, every I is God. Yes, right? So every I have a right to their expression, because God have a right to his expression, his or her expression, regardless of what it may be. It's right. So we give thanks to such things, such knowledge going through, to know that to be godly is to be a person of peace, to be a person like unto nature, how nature has all things in balance, how nature will drop rain on the righteous, the man who claims to be righteous, and drop same rain on the one the righteous claim to be ungodly or the sinner. You see it? And two of them get water from the heavens above to drink and satisfy their thirst. And this is how nature is. When amongst man, a man will claim himself to be righteous, to be godly, and yet is condemning others. You see it? Condemnation is not of God. You see it? Condemnation is of what they call the devil. You see it? Or of destruction, breaking down, unfolding. You see it? To be godly is to create. You see it? To build, to increase, these sort of things. So we look to nature to help us to see what it is to be godly, And then when you meditate on what it is actually to be godly, you start to realize that it all has to do with your state of mind. You see, it has to do with your beliefs, your what they call your concepts, because these are the things that are shaping our reality. You see, and going to school in the system of thought that they gave us, they taught us to have a very limited, ungodly mind. You see, a mind where we are seeing limitations as something that is a reality, when it's not so. You see? So becoming godly, becoming a person who is godly, is someone who strips away the teachings that they were given when they was growing up in schools and these such things. Because those teachings are the teachings that take us away from ourselves. You see? Now, a godly person is someone who orders their thoughts in the way, meaning someone who is calling forth and invoking. You see? Because if you look into the dictionary for the meaning of godly, you know, what it is to be a god or what is God, you will find that the basic meaning of God is to call, to invoke, before they changed it and made it a personal figure. You see it, an idol. It originally meant to call, to invoke. So when you're saying that you're a God, you're a God in earth, you're the God, you're the creator, then you're saying that you're the one that is calling. You're the one that is bringing an image in your mind, bringing that thought to be. You're calling it. You call that image in your mind. And then you invoke the feeling of being that person or that image or having that image. So you're calling and you're invoking upon yourself your desired state that you're desiring to dwell in. You see? And in the God mind, that is the mastermind, all things are possible. So you have to develop the belief system within you, the belief structure, the concept structure of all things are possible to you. You have to believe that absolutely. Yes, you have to understand that whatever you put in your mind, in vision, is a blueprint of the reality that you want to experience. And once you add feeling to it, whether it be a happy feeling, whether it be a sad feeling, whether it be an angry feeling, you are creating, you are marrying it. You are impregnating the thought now with that feeling. And that is what is going to birth. That is the Christ. You see, the word, the Christ, that shall birth and become flesh, become your experience, become the reality that you're living in. That's why the world you see today, the system, take it so important that they be the ones to educate our children. You see it. They be the ones to teach them what the universe look like, what the universe is made of, what the earth is made of, the components of the earth, and all these things. We learned it from them. You see it. So it's not like we come to know these things. We are living a belief. That belief that was given to us as a child is now our reality that we're living as truth. And many of us awakened ones know that most of those things are lies. So then we're living a lie as a truth today. You see it? So when you think of being godly, you see it, you have to think of a total unity of all things in creation. You have to unite yourself with all things in creation. When you unite yourself with all things in creation, how can you then condemn or despise anything whatsoever in creation? Then you will be despising your own self. Yes, right. And this is how we remove iniquity from the hearts of men. For iniquity is only unfairness. Yes, right. And unfairness was taught to us in the schools and in the churches. Taught us to be unfair one to another. Yes, right. Taught us that one is right and the other is wrong. When if one could be right, then the same right that he have to be right, the other one has it too. Whether he's living the same way or whether they're living the same way or not. They both have that right to live. And we must understand these things. We must understand too that the forces that be, that we call today spirits, which are words, which are thoughts, are here for us, to help us, to supply us, to provide for us. You know, these same spirits that you see, they go into the Obia man, and they go into all these people, and they're invoking so that they can get wealth, and in return they have to give something to the spirit for that wealth. You see, those spirits are here to aid mankind naturally. And the only way they can aid us naturally is if we are having a pure heart and clean hands. If we're not sinning, meaning falling short of our mark in life, falling short of who we are meant to be. As long as we are living up to who we are meant to be, then the spirits that be, the forces that be, are in subjection to I and I. You see, we have to learn also, in being godly, to walk by faith and not by sight, calling forth and invoking what you want into creation. It's a real thing. You know, it's not joke. We do it unconsciously. We have to learn to do it now consciously. We have to learn to be able to call forth an idea, an ideal within our mind that fits our liking, and then be able to invoke the feeling of that idea as a reality now in your world, and then be able to dwell from that state of that reality being real. This is what they call today conscious manifestation. It's not something simple. It's not something slight. You see everyone out on Facebook, out on YouTube, out on Instagram, and they're speaking about this manifestation. And most of what they're doing is just pushing out effects, the money, the wealth. You know, they're chasing these things. You see it? And when you chase those things, you will never be able to hold to it. It will always be something that is just missing your grasp. The goal is to become God. Become the mind that is in control of creation. Not the one chasing, but the one becoming. You see it? So we have to learn to be able to renew our mind at will. And what it means by renewing our mind, changing the structure of thoughts that exist in our mind absolutely at will. We have to be able to do that. When you're able to do that, you will be able to control reality. You see? So this is how we ought to be godly. We ought to be calling forth. Before we walk, we call what is to happen. We clear all our paths. You see it? We do all these things by our word. For the word is the power that becometh flesh, the Christ. You see it? For it is the same word that we speak in that became who we see ourselves to be now. You see it? You know, so we do give thanks for the eyes them joining in with I, you know, holding us up on this mighty Sabbath day remembrance, you know? Yeah, teaching us that we have to be able to control this mind that we have. Control the thoughts them that are in the mind. Control our identity, you know, like how the Bible speak that, you know, many of those out there is like a man looking into the mirror and beholding his natural self. And as soon as he turns from that mirror, he forget the person who he is. You see it? And this is what is happening to many on this manifestation road, where they will go into their imagination to create an ideal version of self. But then when they come out of their imagination, when they come out of that mirror, they forget who they are. They are remembering the bills them they have to pay. They're remembering the crappy job that they have. They're remembering all the wrong things, all the undesirable things in their life that they just was in their imagination claiming to not be. You see it? So this road of manifestation is a very deep road. You know, it's not one chasing material things. It's one finding self and being able to change personalities at will, being able to change your core vibration at will. And this is what it is to be godly. Yes, this is what it is to call and then to invoke that which you call upon yourself and become the person of the thing that you desire. And then you will have it in your life. Then the universe will unfold for you. You see it? And keep in mind too, you cannot be teaching if you don't know. If you're not experiencing what you're teaching, then, you know, what you're saying is not always accurate. You know, you see many ones out there saying that they're teaching, you know, and I don't judge no one, you know, everyone in his own place, you know, but many of them, when you listen to them, you see that they're not actually experiencing that which they're teaching. You see it? Because you see this thing called the eye of the mind, the one eye of creation. You see it? It will make all speak the same way, give the same message. You see it? So we got to understand these things. It's the eye of the mind that we're waking up that was asleep and dormant. You see it? And that cannot be woken forcefully. You cannot force it open. You see it? It has to be opened willingly. You have to willingly walk in the way. You have to willingly clean your hands. You have to willingly purify your mind. And then that eye will awake within you. As they say, you have to align your chakras. Yes, you have to align the principles, the 7 core principles of creation. You have to align it within you and live by them. Then your first eye will open. Other than that, it will never open. You see, you might get glimpses, but it will not open. That's why you see so many gurus, so many, you know, people them out there, you know, for years and years they meditating and subjecting their body and their self to brutal, all kind of experiences. And yet still they can't awake to the truth. Yes, right. Yet still they can't realize that this thing is not about pointing finger, condemning and judging. It's not about following anyone. It's about living to you, following self. Everyone has a purpose, a specific purpose in life. You see? And the only way we're going to find out this purpose in life is if we start listening to our very being, our very self. Stop looking outwardly. Stop trying to find answers outwardly from people who don't know, the blind leaders of the blind. Seek within, you know. It's a difference, you know. And it takes, how you would say, how would I say? It takes courage and a dareness to go within and find the truth. Because sometimes the things them that you would hear, many people are not saying it. Sometimes you might not even hear anyone saying it. And then you have to declare it before the masses. You will face ridicule at times, yes. But that is the road that you have to walk. You have to be ready to face ridicule. Yes, right. And be able to stand in that ridicule no matter what anyone has to say. And then your inner eye is going to start to open. You're going to start to see the world for what it truly is. You're going to realize that you are the only operating power in creation. And that by the very thoughts that you arrange in your mind, your reality is formed. And then you experience that. Yes, right. So we do give thanks. I ain't see no one coming in and commenting. Blessed art of Sabbath, one and all. We do give thanks, a royal gesture, one to all. We are all one eye, We are all each other pushed out, We are all the Most High. We are all the one force, the one energy. Saying we are superior to no one. Yes, right? As high as one can rise, so can the other. And as low as one can go, so can the other. We are all the same. Yes, right? And we ought to understand these things. We ought to understand that we have the power to forgive. And when we in word forgive someone of their sins, it is done. They are forgiven. Yes, right? We ought to realize that we are the power manifested. Yes, right? We are the God that we're seeking. Yes, right? And this must be something that is realized and not remembered in the way how they're trying to tell us that we must remember that we're God. No. We must realize that we are God. Awakening comes through realization. And then when you realize now and you go into your imagination to create your reality, you have to now remember. Remember the state that you're in. Remember the face that you say you are. Remember the vibration that you're holding and walk in it all day. If you say you're manifesting a new home and you visualize yourself in that home and become present there in spirit. When you're in flesh, you must be present in spirit there also. So that now you bring that presence in the spirit, physical. So now you're seeing yourself actually in that imaginary house. You're seeing the imaginary windows and it's overriding your current state. This is how we ought to be. This is the training of the mind that we have to go. We have to get deep with this thing. It's not something slight. And what I realized too, many of I and I, in order to get this mind, have to leave the system. You have to let go of the system. Yes, right? Because to walk by faith, it will take you down some roads. Yes, right? Like I showed the eye. You can't be teaching these things without experience. For over 2.5 years, I have been living by faith. Meaning I have no job, I have no form of income where I am gaining a weekly check, a monthly check, or whatever. It's totally nothing there. No one to say, well, okay, they are giving me money every week. No, none of that. Nowhere, no thought or no knowledge of where it is coming from next. I have no outer knowledge of where it's coming from next. I place myself in the state of having it. And then I dwell there. Absolutely. Yes, right? It's a training of the nervous system. Yes, right? When you train yourself to come down. Yes, right? And then now you have to now blessed night. Love and respect going through. Heart of love to the I Royal family. You see it? Now, this living by faith, when you're showing yourself or showing yourself to be that which you're not as yet, calling that which is not as though it is. What happened? The time is 4:56. You can take the vitamins now. You know? Yeah, as I say, I have been living by faith for over 2 years now, since my wife passed away. You know, all the little income that we used to be getting, you know, like on a weekly basis or whatever, immediately vanished. You see it? And the voice came to me and told me that I am not a beggar. You see it? I'm not a chaser. I call forth and invoke what I desire in creation. And from that moment, I have been learning to utilize the hand of God. The hand of God is your human imagination. You see it? To become God, you have to learn to call forth an idea or an image in your mind. You have to be able to see it clearly and then invoke the feeling of having it to become the person that has it. And when you invoke that feeling and become that person that has it, then you have to dwell in that state absolutely till it happens. You see, to the point that when it do happen, there is no outer rejoicing. You don't rejoice and when you see the manifestation take place. No. It is something natural. Because you are already there in mind, in body, in the emotion. You are already there. So when it happens, it's like, oh yes, you knew that it was going to happen because it already happened. You see it? So there is many people out there that is teaching this manifestation thing, and they don't actually know what they're teaching. They have not experienced it. You see it? All my bills are paid through manifestation. The food that I have in my house comes through manifestation. I have no job and no one to call. You see it? And I would say, yes, I am proud of it because I never lived like this before. I always had work. I always had an income. I always took care of my family that way. You see it? And that is what I thought creation was all about. You see it? Even though I know within myself that man was not made to get up and go work for next man and labor so that they can survive and have to pay for piece of land and have to pay for house and have to pay for water. You see it? And all these different things. Till now, everything was stripped away from me. You know, like how they speak in the Bible about Job. And all things was stripped from Job except his wife. All his wealth, his children, everything was taken from him in one day. That's what happened with my wife when my wife passed. In that moment, the love of my life and everything else materially was taken from me. You see it? And I had to adapt a new way of thinking immediately. You see it? Even down to my children. I couldn't weep and moan over my wife. Because if I wept and moan over my wife, then my children them would be weeping and moaning. Anywhere I go, they go. And they're watching me in my eye to see what I'm doing. So I always have to have a smile on my face. Always have to show joy and happiness so that they remain happy and joyful and not stressed out that mommy is gone. All these things I learned friends, who your friends are. Many of them turn their backs on me. Many of them, I would call them, they wouldn't even answer, even up to today. 2 years, 2.5 years after, and they still won't answer the phone. So I know who friends are. I know who enemies are. You see it? And they all dwell within. Because the ones them who don't answer, they did me the greatest thing. Because they made me to have to turn within to find myself and find out what creation is really about. When they say help from man is vain, trust not in man, help from man is vain. It is true. Help from man is vain. A man will help you today. You see it? And then tomorrow see you as a burden when all you're looking for is a piece of food to eat. Just because you're in a position where you cannot actually provide for yourself at the moment. They will turn away from you. You see it? Then you would realize that the only one that is ever there for you is yourself. And you would realize that the only one that ever gives you anything, ever provides for you or supplies you is yourself. Yeah. Your own awareness of being, your own consciousness is who is taking care of you. If someone gives you something, it's because of your own consciousness of self that say that you are worthy of something being given to you. And then it happens to you in your reality. You are the one doing all things for yourself. The madam, stay blessed likewise. Oh, we do give thanks, you know. Yeah, it is a lesson, you know, a learning process. You see it, you know. Yeah, it's only self we must trust. Because remember, you know, in the end, our judge is ourself, you know. Because ourself is the only one that is with us at all times, you know. So it's the only one that knows what we do in secret, in the dark. And they tell you that God knows what you do in secret, in the dark. You are the only one. So you are the God that knows what you do in secret, in the dark. You see it? And I want to say that I blame no one for turning on me, you know. It is a blessing, you know. It's like how they say in the scripture with Moses, that what God does, he hardened the heart of Pharaoh. You see it? He hardened the heart of the ones them that are around you so that you can turn to him inwardly. And then when you turn to him inwardly, he will reward you openly. Then you will learn to live by him. You will learn to surrender. Surrender to the will of God. Surrender to your state fulfilled. Yeah, that is what it means to surrender. Create in your mind your desired end. How you see yourself, how you want to be. However wealthy, whichever, you know, because a lot of people put wealth creation, outward wealth, but however, you know, it's better to put happiness and harmony, you know, and peace, and place yourself there. Because with those things, all outward things will rearrange itself to serve those. You know what I'm saying? So if it takes wealth to get that, you will get the wealth. You see it? So place your meditations and the peace and the harmony and the joy and the happiness, you know, and the love and the compassion and these things here. Because it will give you the desire that you're actually looking for. Not placing your mind on the material things. The material things will come and then they will go. You see? So there's a lot of things in coming to this, you know, God realization, your God self. You know what I'm saying? You realize that, yes, you have to be isolated. You have to be separated, you know, and go by self. You know, hardly anybody is going to be around you. The reason for that is because you have to learn to listen to the voice within you. And you cannot listen to the voice within you if you're hearing a lot of other voices talking to you. You know? You have to learn to hear that inner voice. And then you have to learn to live by that inner voice, regardless of what people say. You see it? Walking in the faith, walking in your state fulfilled, you know, walking in your invoked reality till you see it manifest in your life. You know? So, yeah, this is what the scripture is speaking about, you know. You have to become that which you desire to be before you actually be it, you know. You have to become it. You have to enter the state of it, you know. You have to enter the spirit of that thing, you know, become it in spirit. And then it will manifest. And when it manifests, you will have it forever. You see it? It will never be taken from you because it is founded in the kingdom of heaven. It is founded in the mind. And it is established in the mind. You see it? And it has been made one with you through the mind, through your subconscious, through uniting with your subconscious and becoming one. You see it? You know, so we have to learn who we actually are. You know, we are the first cause. Our body is the second cause. And through the second cause, we create. You see it? And we must remain the first cause. You know, we must remain in consciousness as the first cause. You see it? Yeah, the father and the mother, you know, the darkness and the light, you know. I don't want to say the mother is the darkness out of which all things proceed. The mother of creation, the darkness of your mind. You see it? Out of which all things proceed, out of which light comes. You see it? Now the light is consciousness, which is the first cause. Consciousness is the first cause. Light is the second cause. You see it? The light which we see, you see it, is the second cause. And from that light, all things proceed. You see it? You know, so we do give thanks once again, you know. More love and blessings. You know, it's a joy going through this experience here. You know, being able to call your reality into existence. You see it? Learning what it is to become that which you desire to be before you are it. So that you can become and enjoy that reality. You know? And as I say, no job, no work, but I sure I am eating better than most of you all who has jobs and who is working daily. You see it? And it's not a bragging and a boasting, you know, but it is showing that your life taketh care of itself if you order your thoughts in the proper way. If you keep your conversations upright. You see it? If you do not stumble in your words. We are all living by our words. We are all living by our assumptions. What we are assuming to be true is what becomes true in our life. You see it? You know, so the goal is to return to your father's land, that land within you. The holy city that is upon the hill, the city of the north, the mind space, is to return there. You see it? The place of perfection from which all things proceed. You know? Yes, I. Oh, likewise, more love and blessings, night. You know, strength to the I and the I royal family. I give thanks to thy presence. Until such time, yeah, I'll be here again next strong. You see it. Yeah, man, and for all the other ones, them that is joining in, I give thanks to the eyes, them presence, you know. The eyes, them is truly the gift, which is life, you know. You know, and we cannot exist one without the other, you know. So that's why I find it so important for me to share the things that I am learning. You know, in order to be powerful in creation, in order to be strong in all power, you must not condemn. You must not be someone who is judgmental. You must not be someone who hates, regardless of what, whether it's evil or not. You can't hate evil. All these things, we must come to realize. The perceptions that we was given of the things them in creation are all wrong. They are out of course. Evil is not a construct of man. Evil is a construct of I, the spirit of man. And that evil that I construct was to make sure that good stay in creation. So in other words, if someone arises in creation that is doing wrong, that is hurting his brothers and his sisters, then the evil that I created shall hunt that being down to correct him, to overthrow him. And if that being don't want to listen to the different events that is happening in his life that is showing him that, what you're doing is wrong and you need to change, then the very evil, the very force will unravel that being, will take out that being, and then replace itself with a new being. But the problem that we're having is that we were taught that we must take the place of evil and we must judge others. And in doing so, we are becoming the very wickedness that we're judging. And then the very evil, the very force that is in creation, that is here to purge itself of all wrongdoings, is what is going to attack us now. You see it? So we have to understand these things. You overcome evil with good. And it's a true thing. You have to overcome it with good. Good is the only thing that exists. Evil unfolds. Unfolds itself, unforms. So if you're holding evil thoughts, you're unforming yourself. Being angry all the time, you're unforming yourself. Bringing harm to your liver and your kidneys and all these things. Unforming yourself. When you judge someone, you're unforming yourself. Because that judgment that you're pointing finger out there is pointing directly at you, because everyone is the same being. The mind that is judging that one out there is judging you. But you're quick to forgive yourself, but you don't want to forgive the man on the outside. So the same way how you're using your mind to condemn the man on the outside and forgive yourself is the same mind that you're using that is going to condemn you in the end. You see it? So all these things here we got to come to know. We got to come to realize. And then we got to place it in our remembrance. Place it in our subconscious so it becomes one with us. So that we walk in the way of truth, in the way of faith. We need not help from man, though it's vain. But yet still, our help will come through man. You see it? So though help from man is vain, your help will appear through the form of a man. But you must not trust in the man for the help. You trust in your eye. And your eye, which is one eye, will command and make others do for you as you're seeing done for yourself. You see it? So this is the order of creation. And this is how we escape the system, the matrix, how we become free. Any man that is chasing wealth and material things, this money is not free. because they're thinking that they need that money to survive, and life do not need money to exist. Life do not need money to survive. And this is the trick that they're tricking the people with in this what they call the awakening era. They have them chasing this material wealth, which will only bring them right forward into poverty, right forward into slavery. You see, they're not becoming free. They're not gaining the mastermind. Royal family, I give thanks again for the eyes them, Royal presence with I, but I will move forward now, Yeah. Fullness of joy to the eyes them going through. Full joy the rest of the eye them. Honorable Sabbath Day remembrance. Remembering that we ought to be living in our state fulfilled. You sight? Being able to enter into a state and dwell there absolutely, so that we break down the walls of Jericho, the walls of your reality. You sight? If you can't dwell in that state absolutely, there will be continual changes in your life, ups and downs, ins and out. Good, then bad. You know what I'm saying? So until such time, Royal Family, we do give thanks to the eyes and presence. Aside, I'll try to put out a video or two during this strong, a reel, So until such time, blessed love. Who is that? Baka?